Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we have the King of Fighters Ultimate Match 98 Terry Bogard from Storm Collectibles. Here is a figure that I've long waited for since the first release. I was able to go ahead and pick it up on the re-release that they had issued. Looks like here from Hong Kong. So, first of this line that I actually own, Storm Collectibles here. Fantastic line. I've seen a lot of their stuff, especially their Mortal Kombat. Recently was looking at some of their Baki figures. Definitely want to get my hands on some of those. But I got this one here today mainly because I unfortunately, I will admit that I have never played King of Fighters, but I did play Smash Bros. And this was the one character I got to Elite Smash, and I just loved his combos and things like that. So I figured I have to pick him up because the way I do collect figures is, if it has some kind of special meaning towards me, or I have some kind of connection to it, especially movies, video games, things like that, I will pick these up. So this one here was around $102 after shipping and all that good stuff, taxes. I did pick this one up from Big Bad Toy Store, and it came in probably about 2 or 3 weeks after it had been in stock. So overall, pretty cool figure here so far. Of course, I did open it. Being a toy collector, I do have to open them up and play with them before I do make this video. And being that it's my first one here, I do apologize about any kind of errors in my part, but just kind of winging it here, doing a little bit more candid. One thing I do want to mention about this figure, though, this box particularly, how big it is, because of the effect pieces. We'll show those here later, and I'm planning on doing this in segments, but you can see here it is quite large, and for comparison, I'll show you my Mafex Hush box. You can see it's quite large in size. So, the figure itself is actually a little bit bigger as well, but we'll go over that here shortly when we do size comparisons as well. But of course, as we see the box here, I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the box. We'll take a look at some of the accessories, and then kind of just go over what I like about this figure and maybe what could be done better. But alrighty, let's go. Alrighty, so here we have the box, or the figure out of the box here, and I just want to show you really quick that it does include this insert on the inside, this part panel right here in the back that you can pull out here if you want to display that. And it also does include a little guide for the accessories and how to attach them, all that good stuff. But it's really easy to figure out once you get it out of the box here. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. And I apologize for this really, janky setup here, but like I said, this will be a work in progress. But you can see here, he does come with a few accessories. He does have his screaming face here. He also has this gritting teeth and this little smiling face here. So, and one thing to mention about these heads here is that the cap here, or the brim on this cap, is flexible. So, you don't have to worry about this snapping off or anything like that. Those are the 3 he comes with, and of course the on his the figure itself, we do have the neutral expression. But here he is in his glory. We'll go ahead and do some more deep diving on him shortly here. I'm gonna put him to the side for now. And of course, you see he does come with a multitude of hands here. We do have the open palm, finger extended there. We have the rested open palm. Oops. And then we also have here the kind of like the flexed claw hand, if you will. And then of course the this kind of like I don't know how to explain this one here, but if you're to do some like karate poses or something like that, that's what that looks like there. And then we do have 2 sets of ponytails here. Interesting that they did include 2 of the same. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if they had some that were a little bit more posable. They had 2 hinges there. These ones only, of course, you have the one that waves in the air here. It's a little more dynamic than the resting one here. So those are basically the accessories there. And then these are the reason that the box is so huge, is because of the effect parts. We do have this power geyser right here. It's very large. Compared to him, it's definitely bigger than him, taller than him at least. But it is really cool nonetheless. It's just a kind of like a polyurethane plastic. I don't know honestly, but very, very pointy. So just be careful with that. We do have his like ruffled or his more dynamic vest here. If he was doing some action poses, you can see it kind of like blowing in the wind. We have his burn knuckle right here. This one is a really cool effect piece. You can actually attach this to the fist which I will show here later once we do a little bit deeper on the figure. And then also the power wave effect, so if you want to do that number there. They're all really cool. Definitely, you know, awesome inclusion here. I do love that they did this here. The only issue with this, though, is that, you know, if you don't have the shelf space, it's just not going to work. And I myself don't. I don't have enough shelves put up yet. Definitely want to get a DTOF so I can do my figures on individual levels, but that's a video for another day. So those are the accessories there. We'll go ahead and take a look at the figure here and kind of just go over his goods and his cons, or his pros and cons here. So, alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and take a deeper dive on Terry here as far as articulation goes, as well as some pros and cons. So overall, he is a very sturdy figure. He has a good solid weight to him. None of his joints are loose. They are very, I wouldn't say very tight, but they're solid. You know, you can tell they're not going to go anywhere when you try to pose him. So I'm starting with the head here. He is on a ball joint, so you know you do get all of your rotation and motion there. You can look down pretty far. You can look up pretty high. He does have a ball joint here in his chest, so no issues with movement there, as well as in his waist here. On his arms, he do have full rotation in the shoulder. He does have bicep swivel here and double jointed elbow. One thing I do want to mention is that the forearm actually doesn't have a rotation there because of that joint, but that's, you know, forgivable with the bicep joint swivel there. The wrist itself is also on a ball joint, a peg joint there. So, and of course these are removable. And also really quick as I drop that, there the little wristband piece, which I discuss here later. No issues with the joints there. And then here in the hips or the thigh joints, they do go up pretty high, go pretty far back as well. They do go out pretty far if you want to get in like a kicking pose there. And then here in the double jointed knee, you can see it does go pretty far back, but not terribly far. And these were pretty stiff when I first got out the box, and they still are, but that's fine. And then we have here his ankle joints. They do go, I believe, all the way around. Don't want to try it though. And then up and down a little bit of swivel, and then of course toe joint there, and then the sculpted shoes. And also worth noting that you can see they did sculpt the inside of the ankle here of his shoes, so that's pretty cool. The pros are, like I said, the joints are not loose whatsoever. He is extremely posable, lots of articulation. The notable parts here are the chest piece and the waist piece here, the crotch piece. It is a rubber material, so you won't have any issues with the posing there. You can see here as I push on his ass cheeks that the rubber is malleable, and same thing here on the chest, and also the vest is a rubber material. The cons of this figure, I would say he does look a little bit stiff when you're trying to do dynamic poses. The main reason is that his legs are really long, and you know, I guess it's kind of hard to sculpt jeans on a character, especially if someone of Terry's stature. But his double jointed knee here, when you're posing, just the way that it's sculpted here, it does make it look a little flat, and it's just a little bit odd looking. But I mean, it's fine for what it is. It does look okay. Like I said, it's not too easy to sculpt jeans, but yeah, nonetheless, I can't really say that there's much I don't like about this figure. These pieces right here on the hair do fall out relatively easy if you're moving him around, but I mean, it's not really much of a gripe for me. I mean, the amount of accessories he comes with, the weight and the quality of the figure, no issues with the paint job whatsoever on the arms. You can see, of course, they do have the sculpted veins and, you know, the striations on this dude. Dude's super swole. Doesn't hit leg day, it appears, but nonetheless, the paint job and the sculpt is really well done. And the face sculpts here are nice also. And it kind of throws it off that I have like a yellowish light on here. I do have to invest in one that's a wider LED to kind of get a better picture of what the figures look like, or the paint job looks like. So, but it does look really nice, and there's no issues there with the eyes or anything like that, and the eyebrows. So, yeah, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and go over some size comparisons here, and then we'll do some poses as well, kind of just showing you the kind of things he can do with his accessories. I also want to show you guys really quick that the when taking off the accessories or changing your accessories here, when it comes to the hands, you can remove these little wristbands here, the parts that do connect to his glove here. So you can remove these here. I mean, they kind of just come off, you know, for whatever reason. So these are removable. And then also I wanted to show you really quick, when it comes to changing the vest here, it does mention that you can pop these arms off to put them on. They are a bit of a pain though, and you can see here the actual cut off part of his shirt is a separate piece altogether. It is kind of a pain, so generally what I do is when I'm putting them on, I just move the arms backwards like this, and then you can kind of just wiggle the vest off there. But, you know, like I said, it's just up to you how you want to do that, of course. You can see here, they're kind of just a pain. It's kind of scary to do it. So, in fact, what I'll do really quick here is go ahead and put on that vest here. Bear with me while I get that taken care of. Okay, so we'll go ahead and slide this one off. Slide this one on. And make sure these holes are lined up here. And I apologize if I'm wriggling this camera. My camera arm here is really janky, so just bear with me on that. See, and you can tell here it's a little difficult to put it on that way, so I'll go ahead and do that off camera and then come back when it's all good to go. Alright, so I was able to go ahead and get his arms back in there. You hear some loud pops when you actually put those back in, but all good to go there. You can see here there's this like ruffled vest there. So if he's doing some action poses. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a few poses here, and kind of just show you what you can do with them here. Get an idea, you know, maybe convince you to buy this figure. So, alrighty, so here's Terry here. It's gonna be a little bit more unconventional, being that my setup is really janky here. Like I said, plan to get this fixed up in the future so it does look better when I'm doing these action figure reviews. But if we look at Terry here, I wish I did have a ruler on me. Unfortunately, I don't. But I do believe he stands around about 7.5 inches, something to that degree there. But just for comparisons, here is the amazing Yamaguchi New 52 Superman. You can see here he does tower over him for the most part if we level out their feet there. And then let's see here. We also have our Mezco 2099 Spider-Man. Definitely a little bit taller than him, as you can see there. We then have this nasty piece of work, the SH Figuarts Guts. Now this one here, of course, everybody knows how just the quality on this figure is just honestly dog shit. But nonetheless a cool looking figure. But yeah, you can see here he does tower over these guys here when it comes to those their scaling. And then let's also take a look here at the 1000 Toys Master Chief. He's still taller than him as well, which is interesting, you know, just because Master Chief is a little bit taller than the rest of these figures when it comes to the imports. Still a little bit taller than him. And then we have, let's see here, we have the Mafex Hush Batman. Of course, still much taller than him. So yeah, he's a much taller figure. So if you're not really into you know, the bigger figures, I believe Storm Collectibles, all of their figures are a little bit bigger in scale. Being that I'm mainly a 112 collector, it's not really much of an issue. You know, he is going to stand out a little bit on this shelf, but no big deal. I guess that means I'm just going to have to buy some more of these bad boys. So absolutely. So that's the review here of Terry Bogard. I do want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching. I know it was, like I said, a little bit janky, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this review here. And you have a great rest of your day. Stay blessed, and we'll see you soon with the next one.